So this video is about mental illness. I know they've called it, mental health now, or they have kind of changed it a bit, but I've known it as mental illness for so long, and I think it represents better, the way that it's been portrayed in society and stuff. So I'm gonna keep calling it mental illness. So mental illness is not what they say it is, and it's one of our biggest deceptions here. So I want to talk about this, and this is really one of my more important videos. It's kind of personal because uh, I have mental illness, in my family, and I've grown up with it. I've had it too, I've lived with it, and just so many things. It's very personal to me, but it's very close to my heart as a subject. So I want to talk about how, because we're in this AI type of world, the way that I see mental illness now that I've learned all about what type of world we're actually living in, the way that I see mental illness now has changed, and that's okay, right? We're always evolving in our thinking because of the things we learn. So if one thing changes about what we learn, other things can change as well, like kind of like dominoes, right? It just there are certain things that have to change, some of our beliefs, some of our thoughts. So this is something that has changed for me, and it has been evolving for me for some time, but this was the change that I needed to understand for this subject. So the way that I see mental illness now is definitely not like an illness. It's not like it's not at all what they've made it out to be, right? This world, like I've said before, is a physical world. Everything here is a physical thing. It's even our beliefs, like, they're sort of physical. They're part of our physical world. Um, it's part of the simulation. It's all connected together in this, physical illusion that we have here. So mental illness has been made to seem like a sort of like a physical problem that we have, and it isn't. It's a spiritual problem, if you want to call it a problem. I call it like the opposite of a problem. It's not a problem, and that's the problem. We see mental illness like it's a deficiency, or it's a fault, and it's actually the opposite of that. It's people seeing through the simulation, people seeing through the deception and trying to break out of it. And and it's different, right? Like, there are different type of mental illnesses, and I don't want to talk about all of them because I think that they'd all be treated differently, very differently. So I mainly want to focus on bipolar, anxiety, depression. To me, those are the ones that I know. And I know a lot of other ones too, but I haven't lived through them and around them, and I want to focus on those because I know them very well. So those illnesses, um, you know, we make it seem like a problem. Society has made it seem like that. Whether it's, our schooling, or the media, right? Even just, you can go on talk shows and listen to just like someone like Ellen or whatever, or late night shows, and they'll talk about mental illness this or mental health this, and we can't be listening to these people for advice and to define what we know or what we don't know. We should try to define it with ourselves and in our own world of knowledge. So 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 the simulation that we're in, to me, has um, helped me define mental illness as not an illness, but um, as a way that people are trying to see through things, and not even just trying, but it's out of their control in a lot of instances. Uh, they see through it. They have glimpses or even full view of the simulation, of the real world, of what's hidden underneath, and they're trying to break through it. They're trying to get out of it. They're trying to get back to normalcy a lot of the times, because we all say this is what's normal, this is what's normal, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, come back to normal. So a lot of them try to come back to normal, but who are we to say what's really normal? And we are not the people to tell anybody what's normal, unless you're really you're really awakened. But you really don't have the right to tell other people what's normal, and you don't really have the right to decide what happens in somebody else's life. And this is just our society today. The media, the government, they all want to tell us how to live our lives, right? They all want to tell us what to do, what not to do, what to take, what not to take, what, who to see, and how to define like what we're living, and all that. And it's all part of the big deception. It's all part of the big thing, that is this world that we're stuck in, which is a simulation. It's like a computer simulation. You can watch another one of my videos. I'm not sure if I've really explained it in another video, but that's okay. Just, you gotta put the pieces together for yourself. This is a simulation. So once you understand that, then you understand that these people, they're just they're trying to break out of it. They're stuck. They see it so well, they see it so clearly, and it bothers them. And sometimes it kills them, right? It does all kinds of things. It's very, very unfortunate, and it's caused a lot of suffering. Um, I could talk about my own experience with it. My dad was bipolar, and he committed suicide. And he was the best person alive, the best person alive. There was nobody with a pure, a, like a more pure heart than him, more pure soul. There was nobody who had a more pure soul than him. Nobody that I've ever known in this lifetime, or maybe in any lifetime. I don't know. I just, he just wanted the best for everyone, and he was always thinking about others, and always trying to make everybody laugh, and just the joy of every situation. Yeah, he was everything. And he couldn't handle this world. He was he was tormented. He was tormented, and I know by who. He was tormented a lot, and I know by who. And I know it because he said it too. I mean, he said it, that he was one time had all of us, his children, in the back of the car, and we were very, very young, and he just was going, I don't know, like 1,000 miles an hour or whatever. um and I don't know how my mom figured it out or whatever, but he told her that like he was being chased by the devil, and so the devil like made him race down the street like that, putting all of us in danger. And apparently, like, it seemed pretty serious, like very fast type thing, like it could have killed us all, right? So I know he was tormented a lot, and it was quite the life for him. And he did not die in a very beautiful way. I mean, it's just very, very tough to just to imagine somebody so tormented and so tortured by this by this illness, which we call an illness, and it's not. It's our lack of understanding it and our lack of getting to the bottom of what it really is that is bothering them and tormenting them. And it's these evil souls, these evil entities, this evil world that we're in, but it's not fully evil, right? There's still God. We're just not living in God's world necessarily right now, right? Our souls are God's, and we are from God, and we'll return to Him if we want to, and if we have enough truth, we'll return to heaven. But we are stuck in Lucifer's world right now, and that is the truth. It's nice to try to avoid it if you want. Like, it's nice to be like, no, that's not true. I must be nice for you, but that's not my world. I'm not going to ignore the truth, and I've put too many pieces of the puzzle together to ignore it at this point, and I could never. And we are in Lucifer's world, and this world is a simulation type world where everything um, is not it's not who we are. Nothing is who we are here. Who we are is simply our spirits, and we have forgotten our spirits here. So these people who are tormented by, whether it's being having this bipolar illness, or whether it's being depressed and all that. And people know, like, depression comes from, like, your environment mostly. I mean, it really is. And I just feel like mental illness or whatever, those issues, they come from our family, or they, whether in a good or bad way, they, because it can be good, right, if you use it well. If you don't use it for knowledge, then you fall into it probably, right? So if you use it to grow and to move forward and to learn more, to know more, to build on it, instead of like to have it as your handicap, right? um, then you're doing well. But we all have to help each other through it, because like, for example, when my dad was sick, he did not have the kind of help that he could have had today, possibly. But even today, people don't really know what's going on, right? People are still calling it a certain way, but there are a lot of or sorry, treating it a certain way, and thinking about it a certain way and whatever. But there are a lot of people who actually, who who know at least not to treat it like an illness, right? Like, somebody else very close to me, and I won't say who, because they're still alive, has actually a lot of things. And I mean, that's how they were diagnosed, right? But I've never ever treated this person like they were anything. And not even when I knew her or whatever, it was always just the same old person to me. And that's how we should be with everyone, and we should never judge them in any way. And I know people know that, but we have to actually treat them equally, as in, like, asking them what they think, and asking them what they feel, and what they think of the truth. Like, we have to all give each other the benefit of the doubt that we know something, that we have pieces of information for the world, right? And that we are not less informed or less knowledgeable because of either our age, our diagnosis, or whatever, any of them, are anything, our experiences. We should not have any sort of you know judgment towards anybody, and nothing at all that would keep us from thinking of anybody as, like, less than equal to us. And I do mean that age is, it's not important, because my soul could be older than yours, or my soul could be different than yours. Well, we're all different, right? And we have to help each other, because at in the end, we're all spirits, we're all souls, and we are all equal, and we all need to share with each other. We all need to do the same for each other. And this this is the same for people with who we say have mental illnesses. They're not illnesses. Uh, They are probably extremely sensitive souls who have been put in this, what you might want to call as a reality, which it really isn't. Um, and they can't handle it. They're trying to break out, or they're fighting it. They're trying to become normal. They're struggling with it somehow. This society is not the place to have, to be a sensitive soul, a sensitive person, a sensitive anything, right? And it's tough. Even as small, and I say small, but it's not small, but as small as something like anxiety, it's important to realize that, we have anxiety and stuff because we have things to learn about that anxiety, and we have to grow with that anxiety. We have to build on it and learn about it, and defeat it in a way, but never to suppress it, just to be bigger than it, to know about it. So that's how we overcome things, is we learn about it. We gain knowledge on it, and real knowledge, true knowledge, not like knowledge like you're reading a book, or you're reading a website and it says this, and you're like, wow, I gained so much knowledge. Or you've read 10 books and you think like you're knowledgeable. Like, knowledge is from the heart, knowledge is from your soul. um okay, go. Just a little pause there. My kid came in. Okay, so yeah, so knowledge is from the heart, and it's so important to, because the thing is, you might wonder, like, how can knowledge be from the heart, right? Like, knowledge is what we gain, but our souls have all the answers. And the more we connect with our souls and our hearts, because our heart is sort of like part of our soul, right? It's When we say heart, we basically say soul, right? Because it is the same, it is from the same place. um it's from, God, from heaven, from our real lives, our real home, right? And our the true people that we are. That's where our true knowledge comes from, and it's because of all the knowledge we've already accumulated, not just in our past human lives, but in our past regular spirit lives, right? You have all the knowledge inside, and here, on earth, as a human, you gain that knowledge from people around you, from the things you learn here, and it's mainly from people. And I don't even want to talk about the media and the government. I don't care what they have to say. I do care, though, because it helps me decide what's true or what's false, right? And media too, and Hollywood people, and people like, Oprah or whatever, who think they have all the answers. Oh, don't trust everybody. Don't even trust most of them. Don't trust any of them, right? You can listen, but I would say talk to each other more. We all have to do that more. It's Everything is through each other. And so what I'm really saying here is that, like, everybody has the answers. It doesn't matter who they are. And I mean, this other person that's close to me, you know, they've been in contact with the devil as well. Yes. So and like, so, they target these people, right? Because they think they're weak. And I guess they are, because in their human bodies, they're just so sensitive. They're sensitive souls. And so coming here, um it's very hard for them. I mean, I think about something. Um, I think about something sometimes that would have probably broken me if I had learned about it too soon. And I think it's why I learned about it so late in the game. And no, I know, it's like sort of that true God knowledge, that true frequency that you have inside. You know certain things. And I know that this one thing I didn't learn, um, because I didn't learn until so late in the game because I couldn't have handled it. It would have broken um, parts of my life that I couldn't have handled, I couldn't have lived with. And I realized that, I don't know, just a few weeks ago or something, I realized it would have totally broken my life where um, I couldn't have been happy anymore. I couldn't have lived my life properly, where I couldn't have been as efficient in the way I'm trying to help people. So it's just so it's hard, right? And I'm a sensitive person too, but we're all different, right? So I've known people to have more sensitive souls than me, sensitive spirits, and we're all different, and we all just need to be careful with each other. Um, we really need to be careful with each other, um, because we all have important knowledge, and I'd say I'm not sure I would say the sicker you are, the better the knowledge is, but because at some point it can really unravel to be something that doesn't even make sense anymore. But I'm not even sure. Maybe it does, right? Maybe it does make sense. But um, I know that. Well, I'm talking more for bipolar and anxiety and depression and whatever. So I just think it probably always does make sense, but we have to pay attention. It's our responsibility here. It's our responsibility to pay attention to each other and to care what people are saying, regardless who you are, what you have, how old you are, and what you've done in your life. It doesn't matter. Listen to each other. Doesn't matter. Don't judge each other that way. Nobody is more knowledgeable um, than you. We all have the same answers inside. Obviously, knowledgeable, yes, more knowledgeable, like in your human form and whatever. But all of our souls have the answers that we need. We just really have to try and gain those answers back in this life. So yeah, I'm just gonna take a look at my notes, see what else I've missed. So, oh yeah, okay. So I just saw something today on TV. Like I never watch TV, and it was just like I just have this little like cable thing for like a couple channels, and this stupid show that Talk was on. But of course, like sometimes, once in a blue moon, I look at what they're saying just to see like what kind of deceptions and lies they're feeding us today. And so Selena Gomez went on, and she says, "Oh, she apparently she came out last week or something saying, I have I'm bipolar and whatever." And like fine, okay, but I could see right through it. First of all, she's not who she says she is or whatever. But also, they're trying to push stuff down our throats, right? So I knew that they were trying to like normalize like medication and stuff. Like that's the goal most of the time, is like to make people feel comfortable with taking medications, and I've seen it firsthand. Um, someone, well, more than one person. I've seen many people take medication, but I've seen it, and it's not good. Just represses your soul. It suppresses your soul, and it's very bad. It so medication makes us less connected to our true selves, to our spirits. That is really the main goal and the main reason for medication. At least this kind of medication, but probably most medication anyways. Um, so yeah, it makes us less connected to ourselves, less aware of ourselves, less aware of our surroundings. Um, and it just subdues us, right? We're easier to control, godless, like our light is diminished. So when your light is diminished, you have a harder time, connecting to that higher frequency, which is like lighter, right? More light. So there's that. And then um yeah, and the fact that they're taking out your light, that's what they want, right? They want you to be more like um a negative person, more of like yeah, less light. They don't like a lot of light in you because that's God, right? Light is like God. So they don't want a lot of light. And so when you are less connected with who you truly are, your light diminishes. And all this stuff, your light just diminishes. And that goes for everything that we do really in this life. It decides how much light we have within us and around us. So yeah, so I just, I wrote like they can't conform to the simulation. They don't have the heart or the soul for it. They get glimpses of what the real world is made of. Yeah, it's like taking beautiful masks off of the beasts, right? So it's like seeing what the truth is like, right? So they get glimpses of that. They get glimpses of like this simulation and what's really lying underneath. Yeah, it's like stripping a veil off of the earth and seeing its true inhabitants and people's true nature, right? It's like that movie They Live. The movie They Live is about seeing like reptilians and whatever in their true form. They look like aliens, but really they're like reptilians. And you see them, and you see everything, all the predictive programming that's saying like obey, and like they're saying like shop, 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 50% off. And really, you put the glasses on. In the movie, it's the glasses that show you the real world. You put the glasses on, and it says like obey, or it says like take medication and conform, right? All that stuff. So, yeah, it's contagious because it wakes you up. So it can be good. It can really be good for you if you can build on it, and you can build on it. You have to build on it. That's your goal. That's your obstacle. Like that's what you need to do. Like God sends you obstacles, right? So are you going to take them, or are you just gonna like sit down and give up? You have to keep going. You always have to keep moving forward. And that's your goal. Like it's like the end line. You gotta keep going, and you never really get to the end, and that's fine. But you do get closer, and you feel it. You're like, oh my god, I'm so close. You do. It does work like that. So you gotta keep going. You always keep going. Never stop. Never give up. You can take breaks. Never give up. So yeah. But not everyone can handle it. Uh, so this is why we have to help those that can't handle it as well as we can. We have to help them with the truth, and help them with awareness, and help them with support, emotional support, you know, spiritual support, like support in a way that is truthful and real. That's what they really want. They don't want lies. They don't want your medication. They don't want your comfort. They want the truth. They want the truth. There's comfort is in the truth. And they want awareness. What is the real world? We have to understand these things in order to beat them and to get to the next step and to grow. Um, yeah. So only if your soul wants to know the truth, then you can find out. And I think we all really do want it, but how much are we willing to push our human minds and our human bodies towards it? We have to We have to forget that we're bodies. We have to realize we're spirits. And when you realize you're a spirit, you're fully a spirit, you know you can do anything. You know you can defeat anything, and you never give up. You just don't, because you know you're that strong. And you know what's at the end line. You know what that's at the end line. So there's too much on the line. There's too much at stake not to go and do your job properly, and do what you're here for, yeah, so you just have to analyze that deeper side of life, because that's really what it is. It's the deeper and more real side of life that we're being hidden from, right? And that we're being lied about. That's what we have to analyze and get more truth about. So, um, and that's about it, I think. Yeah. So I will leave it at that. Talk to you guys later.